All right. So do we want to go local or national first? And do we want to use authority articles, social media marketing, and other inbound? Or do you want to go outbound with press releases, paid ads, like Google ads and forum ads and uh, other outreach kind of things? Okay, so all business sizes are going to be a little different, especially between little and big. And people way smarter than me are saying this, so I'd listen to them. But here's some differences. When you're small, nobody knows about you. You don't have any social proof. No one's validated that you are worth their time. And with a big business, you have a lot of that. And so with your little business, you're going to want to start out locally because you can actually focus on it. And the reason why you want to focus on it is because of some strange psychological rules and some math. And what you're going to look at here is the 99 and 1% rule that a lot of people talk about online. And so you get 90% roughly of the people of your traffic is unregistered and they're just never going to interact. They're watching. They're just watching. And so you get about 9% who make accounts and maybe vote. Or they do likes or shares, but they don't ever comment or make their own post. They pseudo interact. And then you got your 1% that are active and are doing a lot of stuff. And so that 1% is what you got to really focus on. And you got to also focus on how many people you went through to get that one person. So if you have a new social website like I did, and it failed miserably because I didn't know any of this at the time, and I was not a programmer, but that's something else. I tried to make it national first, and I tried to add too many topics. So 2 very good lessons here I learned was that every topic you have, you need to have enough people in a group to talk about that subject. And if you have multiple locations all trying to talk about subjects, now you've multiplied the scenario. So let's say you have one city with 10 topics and you have 10 cities. Well, now you have 100 different communities you have to start. And if you look at that 99 and 1% rule, then you see that it's going to be a little difficult. Let's say each community needs 30 active people and in a 24-hour window so that you actually have some movement going on. Let's just say it takes 30 people to do that, and they're on there all the time, at least once a day. Let's just assume that. A wonderful assumption. Then you see that if you do that multiplication with that rule, you end up with needing about 3,000 people. Now, if you want to bump it up to something more substantial, which you can look at Reddit to do, you'll see that subreddits with around 100, 150 people, they're fairly dead. Lack of marketing or lack of being an interesting subject. So communities with around 300 or more, you can see actually take hold and do something, or at least exist in some extent. So let's say you need 300 people for your community to survive per topic. So now you need 30,000 eyeballs on your website in a 24-hour period to survive. That's a lot of people. Now spread that out over 100 different units of this particular problem, and you end up with a really big problem. Let's do some multiplication here. We're going to take those 30,000 people that you originally needed and multiply it by 100, and you're going to get a lovely number of 3 million people. 3 million. That's a lot of people. Not a lot of people have that kind of pull or marketing budget at the beginning. So start simple, start local, start with one subject. If you start with that subject, or maybe just 2 or 3, but try one, because that's what Reddit started with. And then you basically do what Reddit did, and more people come, and you foster that little group. Then those people start seeing overlaps between their interests, and so you create a new subreddit or a new group or whatever community that relies on those other interests, those other shared interests, and then you just keep fostering it, and more people say, hey, come join me, these other people are cool, let's talk all together. So it won't be just me and them, you can join in and have some fun too. So then you now are using social proof to generate more traffic, in addition to the outbound marketing that you were doing with ads. So you do outbound marketing first, and you do some inbound marketing tactics, like, networking with people and creating some articles here and there. But your big issue is going to be outreach, which is talking to people, doing some ads, press release. You can do your own PR, but paying someone to do it might be useful. Cold email, outreach, stuff that means you're just reaching out and spitting your message at them and hoping that the value you're conveying is enough for them to use your product or service. So you start with the outbound, which is, paid and work and stuff. And then eventually, as you grow and have that social proof to look at, you'll be able to do less outbound and more inbound. Now, there are anomalies like Reddit, but they're anomalies, not statistical. Happens every day if you do these, list of things right. It's not going to work out that way. Some things just are lucky, and some things are normal. So don't expect that all of the people with abnormal amount of success got there because of XYZ rules. Yeah, they probably did use those things, but they also had a bit of luck in there. So don't expect to grow super fast or super well, and you don't really have to compare yourself to them because they're the superstars of the business realm, and it'd be nice to get there, and you can, but don't expect it to happen super quick or as easily as they had it happen. Some people really do have a well-connected friend, or just get into a program, an accelerator program, and meet somebody that can really help them out, or find a really cool investor that has a lot of connections. So don't expect unlikely things like that. Expect real things like conversion rates and actual strategy. So you can see that the 99.1% rule worked there, but I want to talk a little bit about something else too. There's this video on TED Talk, and it was about tribes and how you get them and how people work and stuff. And so it's this hillside, and there's some music playing, and this person's dancing, having a good time, and nobody else is doing it. And so it looks sort of funny. And so somebody else ends up going and dancing with them and having a good old time. And shortly after, third person comes up. But even shorter after, number 4 comes up. And then 5, 6, 7, and then the whole crowd. So what happens is you get that validation that, hey, this might not be so crazy. There really is value in doing this. And there are this many people that have said, yeah, that works. So you get on there. And that's sort of how Facebook did their marketing strategy, and what I'm proposing people do here, from going local to national. And you start off with that super laser focus on that base group, and you're going to have some people in there that talk to other people, the influencers, the ones that spread the message. And so you focus on that tight group, and they will sort of do the marketing for you, but you still have to do the outreach. You still have to do the inbound marketing, but laser focused. Don't do a buckshot. Don't spread the focus of energy, because if you spread the focus of energy, it's going to be less effective. Much like with anything, you spread too thin, it's just too thin. It's diluted, not as effective, not as concentrative dosage to get the result you want. And so what Facebook did is they started one school, and he got sort of lucky in the way he did it, but he captured that one school's attention, and then he went to another one, and then another one, and then you use that surge you have in the back to push your next, and just envelop more and more space, more market share, and more of your audience and what they perceive. Because after a while, people sort of almost drag other people on board, like Facebook. For instance, me. I didn't want to join Facebook. I thought, not great, don't care. But other people are like, hey, you get to connect with people you haven't seen in a long time, and they'll actually talk to you because email sucks. And you get to see funny pictures and find people you went to school with and all this other stuff. And it was sort of like, yeah, okay, because you sort of have to, sort of like going to family reunions and whatever. It just works better than if you don't. So I mean, that's the kind of pull, that kind of compulsion you get after you have so many people. You start to onboard these people that don't really care, because it's so massive that it's hard to not think that it could fail you. And we're hardwired with all these weird things in our heads, and society operates on pretty basic rules that marketers are figuring out, and philosophers sort of know about, and all this. So I mean, a lot of patterns, and you can use these patterns to your advantage, from going local and outreach to national and more inbound. So I hope that explains this concept. I'm not super awesome with words, but hopefully that works out for you.